Hey people! I'm at work today, so I get to do 2 videos in a row. Woohoo! So it's Thursday. Pretty miserable day outside. Hope you're all well. Hope you're enjoying the book. I am certainly enjoying it. It's very well written, I think, and I like the characters of Mateo and Rufus and how they play off each other. Put in the comments what you like about the book or what you don't like. I'd love to know what you think. Alright, well, time is ticking down for these two guys. Let's see where we're heading. Part 3, the beginning. Mateo, 12:22 p.m. 12 hours ago, I received a phone call telling me I'm going to die today. In my own Mateo way, I've said tons of goodbyes already to my dad, best friend and goddaughter, but the most important goodbye is the one I said to past Mateo, who I left behind at home excuse me, when my last friend accompanied me into a world that has it out for us. Rufus has done so much for me, and I'm here to help him confront any demons following him, except we can't whip out any flaming swords or crosses that double as throwing stars, like in fantasy books. His company has helped me, and maybe mine will help him through my heartache too. 12 hours ago, I received the phone call telling me I'm going to die today, and I'm more alive now than I was then. Deep. Rufus, 12:35 p.m. I don't know where Mateo is leading me, but it's all good because the rain stopped and I'm recharged and ready to go after getting a strong power nap on the train ride back into the city. It sucks how I didn't dream, but no nightmares either. Win some, lose some. I'm crossing out the travel arena because it's mad busy at this time of day, as Mateo pointed out, so if we're still alive in a few hours, we may have a better chance of not completely wasting away in lines. We have to wait for the herd to thin out pretty much. Shitty way to think, but I'm not wrong. I hope whatever we're going to do isn't sometimes suck like make a moment. I'm betting it's charity work, or maybe he's been secretly chatting with Amy and arranged a meet up so she and I can make things right before I kick the bucket. We've been in Chelsea for a solid 10 minutes in the park by the pier. I'm that guy I hate, the one who walks in the bike lane when there's clearly a lane for walkers and joggers. My karma score is going to be jacked, legit. Mateo leads me towards the pier where I stop. You going to try and throw me over, I ask. You got an extra 40 pounds on me, Mateo says. You're safe. You said spreading your parents' and sisters' ashes didn't do much for you. I thought maybe you could get some closure here. They all died on our way upstate, I say. Fingers crossed those road barriers our car flipped over, freak accident style, may have been repaired by now, but who knows. It doesn't have to be the crash site. Maybe the river will be enough. Not sure what I'm supposed to get out of this. I don't know either, but if you don't feel comfortable, we can turn around and do something else. Going to the cemetery gave me peace. I wasn't expecting, and I want you to have that same wonder. A shrug. We're already here. Bring on the wonder. There are no boats docking by the pier, which is a huge waste, like an empty parking lot. In July, I came by the pier a little farther uptown with Amy and Tago because they wanted to see these waterfront statues. They came back here a week later because Malcolm missed out on account of food poisoning. We walk across this arm of the pier. It's not made up of planks. Otherwise, I'd be too nervous to go forward. I'm straight catching Mateo's paranoia like a cold. The pier is all cement and sturdy, not some rickety mess that's going to collapse under me. But feel free to put down $1 to optimise tricking the shit out of me. We reach the end and I grab the steel grey railing so I can lean out and see the river's currents doing their thing. How are you feeling? Mateo asks. Like this whole day is a practical joke and the world is playing on me? You're an actor, and any minute now my parents Olivia and the Plutos are going to run out the back of some van and surprise me. I wouldn't even be that pissed. I'd hug them and then kill them. It's a fun thought, massacre aside. Seems pretty pissed to me, Mateo says. I've spent so much time being pissed at my family for leaving me, Mateo. Everyone's always running their mouth about survivor's guilt, and I get it, but I've never talked about this with the Plutos, not even Amy when we were dating, 'cause it's too horrible. But I'm the one who left them, yo. I'm the one who got out of the sinking car and swam away. I still think about it. that it was even me or some strong reflex, like how you can't keep your hand on a hot stove without your brain forcing it away. It would have been mad easy to sink with them, even though death cast hadn't hit me up yet. If it was that easy for me to almost die, maybe they should have worked harder to beat the odds and live. Maybe death cast was wrong. Mateo comes closer and palms my shoulder. Don't do this to yourself. There are entire forums on countdowners for deckers, confident they're special. When death cast calls, that's it. Game over. There isn't anything you could have done, and there isn't anything they could have done differently. I could have driven. I snapped, shaking off his hand. Olivia's idea since I was tagging along. That way, decker hands wouldn't be steering the car. But I was too nervous and too pissed and too lonely, and I could have bought them a few hours. Maybe they would have given up when things looked bad. Once I was out the car, they just sat there. Mateo, no fighting them. They only cared about me getting out. My pops reached for my door immediately, same time my mum did from behind. I could have opened my own door. It's not like my hand was jammed somewhere. I was dazed because our fucking car flew into the river, but I snapped out of it. They just gave up, though. Once my door was open, Olivia didn't even gun for the escape. I was forced to wait in the back of an ambulance with a towel that smelled like bleach around me as a team pulled their car out of the river. This was never your fault. Mateo's head is hanging low. I'm going to give you a minute alone, but I'm waiting for you. I hope that's what you want. He walks off, taking my bike with him. Before I can answer, I don't think a minute is enough until I give in, crying harder than I have in weeks. I hammer out at the railing with the bottom of my fist. I keep going and going, hitting the railing because my family is dead, hitting it because my best friends are locked up, and hitting it because my ex-girlfriend did us dirty, hitting it because I made a new dope friend and we don't even get a full day together. I stop out of breath like I just won a fight against 10 dudes. I don't even want a picture of the Hudson, so I turn around and keep it behind, walking towards Mateo, who's wheeling my bike in pointless circles. You win, I say. That was a good idea. He doesn't gloat like Malcolm would or taunt me like Amy did whenever she won a battle at Battleship. My bad for snapping. You needed to snap. He continues moving in his circle. I'm a little dizzy watching him. Truth? If you need to snap again, I'm here. Last friends for life. Delilah Grey, 12:52 p.m. Delilah rushes to the only bookstore in the city that miraculously carries Howie Maldonado's science fiction novel, The Lost Twin of Bone Bay. Delilah speeds towards the store, staying far away from the curb, ignoring the catcall from a boarding man with a large gym bag and rushing past two boys with one bike. She's praying Howie Maldonado doesn't move up the interview before she can get there when she remembers there's are greater stakes at play in Howie's dying life. Vin Pearce, 12:55 p.m. Death cast called Vin Pearce at 12:02 a.m. to tell him he's going to die today, which isn't that surprising. Van is pissed. The beautiful woman with the colourful hair ignored him. Pissed he never got married. Pissed he was rejected by every woman on Necro this morning. Pissed at his former coach who got in the way of his dreams. Pissed at the two boys with a bike who are getting in the way of the destruction he's going to leave behind. The boy in the bike gear is so slow, taking up the sidewalk space with the bike he's walking beside. Bikes are meant to be ridden, not carted around like a stroller. Vin barrels forward, no consequences in mind, bumping the boy's shoulder with his own. The boy sucks his teeth, but his friend grabs his arm, holding him back. Vin likes to be feared. He loves it in the outside world, but he loved it most in the wrestling ring. 4 months ago, Vin began experiencing muscle pains, but refused to acknowledge his weaknesses. Lifting weights was a struggle with poor results. Sets of 20 pull-ups became sets of 4 on good days, and his coach pulled him out of the ring indefinitely because fighting would be impossible. Illnesses have always run through his family. His family died years ago after being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. His aunt died from a ruptured ectopic pregnancy and so on, but Vin believed he was better, stronger. He was destined for greatness. He was sure of it, like world championships and unbelievable riches, but chronic muscle disease pinned him down and he lost it all. Vin walks inside the gym where he spent the past 7 years training to become the next world heavyweight champion. The smell of sweat and dirty sneakers bringing back countless memories. The only memory that matters now is the one where his coach made him pack up his locker and suggest a new career route. Like being a ringside commentator or becoming a coach himself. Insulting. Vin sneaks down to the generator room and pulls a homemade bomb out of his gym bag. Vin is going to die where he was made, and he's not dying alone. Awesome. Mateo, 12:58 p.m. We pass a shop window with classic novels and new books sitting in children's chairs, like the books are hanging out in waiting room ready to be bought and read. I could use some lightness after the threatening grill of that man with the gym bag. Rufus takes a picture of the window. We can go in. I won't be longer than 20 minutes, I promise. We go inside the open bookstore. I love how the store name is hopeful. This is the best worst idea ever. I have no time to actually read any of these books, but I've never been in this store before because I usually have my books shipped to me or I borrow them from the school library. Maybe a bookshelf will topple over and that's how I go out. Painful, but there are worse ways to die. I bump into a waist-high table while eyeing an antique clock on top of a bookshelf, knocking over their display copies of back-to-school books. I apologise to the bookseller, Joel, according to his name tag, and he tells me not to worry and assists me. Rufus leaves his bike in the front of the store and follows me as I tour the aisles. I read the staff recommendations, all different genres, praised in different handwriting, some more legible than others. I try avoiding the grief section, but two books catch my eye. One is Hello, Deborah, My Old Friend, the biography of Catherine Everett Hastings that caused some controversy, and the other is the best-selling guide to no one shuts up about, talking about death when you're unexpectedly dying, written by some man who's still alive. I don't get it. They have a lot of my favourites in the thriller and young adult sections. I pause in front of the romance section where they have a dozen books wrapped in brown paper stamped blind date with a book. There are little clues on what the book is to catch your interest, like profile of someone you meet online, like My Last Friend. Have you ever dated anyone, Rufus asks. The answer feels obvious. He's nice for giving me the benefit of the doubt. Nope. I've only had crushes, but it's embarrassing to admit they were characters in books and TV shows. I missed out. Maybe in the next life. Maybe, Rufus says. I sense there's something more he wants to say. Maybe he wants to crack a joke about how I should sign up for necro so I don't die a virgin, as if sex and love are the same thing, but he says nothing. I could be totally wrong. Was Amy your first girlfriend, I ask? I grab the paper-wrapped book with an illustration of a criminal running away, holding an oversized playing card, a heart stealer. First relationship, Rufus says, playing with his spinner of New York City-themed postcards. But I had things for other classmates in my old school. They never went anywhere, but I tried. Did you ever get close to someone? He slides the postcard of the Brooklyn Bridge out of the spinner. You can send them a postcard. Postcards? I smile as I grab one. 2, 4, 6, 12. You had a lot of crushes, Rufus says. I move for the cash register where Joel assists me again. We should send postcards to people you know. I keep it vague because I don't want to break the news to his bookseller that the customers he's ringing up are dying at 17 and 18. I'm not going to ruin his day, the Plutos. Any classmates? I don't have their addresses, Rufus says. Send it to the school. They'll have the address for anyone you graduated with. It's what I want to do. I buy the mystery book and the postcards. Thank Joel for his help, and we leave. Rufus said the key to his relationships was speaking up. I could do this with the postcards, but I have to use my voice too. I was 9 when I bothered my dad about love, I say, looking through the postcards again at places in my own city I never visited. I wanted to know if it was under the couch or high up in the closet where I couldn't reach yet. He didn't say that love was within or love is all around you. Rufus wheels his bike beside me as we pass this gym. I'm hooked. What did he say? That love is a superpower we all have, but it's not always a superpower I'd be able to control, especially as I get older. Sometimes it'll go crazy, and I shouldn't be scared if my power hits someone I'm not expecting it to. My face is warm, and I wish I had the superpower of common sense, because this isn't something I should have ever said out loud. That was stupid, sorry. Rufus stops and smiles. Nah, I like that. Thanks for the story, Super Mateo. It's actually Mega Master Mateo, man. Get it right, sidekick. I look up from the postcards. I really like his eyes, brown and tired, even though he got some rest. How do you know when love is love? Glass shatters and we're suddenly thrown backward through the air as a fire reaches out towards a screaming crowd. This is it. I slam against the driver's side of a car, my shoulders banging into the rear view mirror. My vision fades. Darkness, fire, my neck creaks when I turn. Rufus is beside me, his beautiful brown eyes closed. He's surrounded by my postcards of the Brooklyn Bridge, the Statue of Liberty, Union Square and the Empire State Building. I crawl toward him and tense as I reach out to him. His heart is pounding against my wrist. His heart, like mine, desperately doesn't want to stop beating, especially not in chaos like this. Our breaths are erratic, disturbed and frightened. I have no idea what happened, just that Rufus is struggling to open his eyes and others are screaming. But not everyone. There are bodies on the ground, faces kissing cement, and beside one woman with very colourful hair who's struggling to get up is another, except her eyes are skyward and her blood is staining a rain puddle. Rufus, 1:14 p.m. Yo, a little over 12 hours ago, that deathcast dude hit me up telling me I'm a goner today. I'm sitting on a street curb hugging my knees like I did in the back of the ambulance when my family died. Straight shaken now over that explosion, the kind you only see in summer blockbusters. Police and ambulance sirens are blasting and firefighters are handling business on the burning gym. But it's too late for mad people. Deckers need to start wearing special collars or jackets, something that'll clue us in on not flocking in one place. That could have been me and Mateo if we were a minute or two slower. Maybe, maybe not. But I know this is a little over 12 hours ago. I got a call telling me I'm going to die today, and I thought I made my peace with that. But I've never been more scared in my life of what's going to go down later. Mateo, 1:28 p.m. The fire has been put out. My stomach has been screaming at me for the past 20 minutes to feed it, as if I can call a time out on my end day to have another meal without wasting valuable time, and as if Rufus and I weren't almost just killed in an explosion that claimed other Deckers. Witnesses are speaking to the cops, and I don't know what they could possibly be saying. The explosion that destroyed the gym came out of nowhere. I sit beside Rufus, his bike and my bookstore bag. The postcards are scattered all around us and they can stay there on the ground. I don't have it in me to write anything when there are Deckers who've now found themselves in body bags on the way to the morgue. I can't trust this day. Rufus, 1:46 p.m. I've got to keep it moving. I want more than anything to sit across from the Plutos and talk about nothing, but the next best thing to break me out of this mood is a bike ride. It's what I did after my parents and Olivia died and when Amy broke up with me, and this morning after beating down Peck and getting the alert. Once we're away from the chaos, I get on the bike, flexing the brakes. Mateo dodges my gaze. Please get on, I say. It's the first time I've spoken since being thrown in the air like a wrestler. No, Mateo says. I'm sorry, it's not safe. Mateo, Rufus, Mateo, Rufus. Please, Mateo, I got a ride after what went down. And I don't want to leave you behind. We're supposed to be living, period. We know how this ends for both of us, but I don't want to look back at anything thinking we straight wasted it. This wasn't some dream and we won't wake up from this. I don't know what else I can do. Get on my knees and beg. It's not my style, but I'll give it a go if it gets him to come with me. Mateo looks seasick. Promise to go slow, okay? Avoid going down any hills and through puddles. Promise. I hand him the helmet, which he's refusing, but there's no way in hell I'm more at risk than he is. He straps the helmet on, hangs the bookstore bag from the handlebar, climbs on the rear pegs and grips my shoulders. Is this too tight? I just don't want to fall, helmet or not. No, you're fine. Cool. Ready. Ready. I pedal, slowly, feeling the burn in my calves as I carry 2 people forward. It's like running up a hill. I find a good rhythm and put the police and the corpses and destroyed gym behind us. Wow. Well, that was a bit of a spin that I wasn't ready for. Very interesting. Alright, hope you enjoyed today's reading, and I will be back with more soon. Bye.